Hello, welcome to Spotlight. Today we're going to have a look at the roll-up, which can be a very challenging movement, especially for newbies to Pilates. And we're going to break it down, giving you a couple of tips and tricks that you can use right at home to master this movement. Let's begin seated on the mat, knees bent and feet flat. Walk your feet out quite a bit so that you have a big base of support as opposed to the heels being really tight in toward your body. Position your hands behind your legs and tip a little bit side to side so that you can feel the bones under your butt, your sit bones. Now, once you feel those landmarks, you can pause, grab the legs again, sit tall. So the purpose of the roll up and the roll down is to move your back bone by bone by bone. So from here, I want you to think of moving your hips under, pulling your waist back, pulling your ribs back, and seeing if you could bring the lowest part of your back toward the mat. As you do this, pause, relax your shoulders, try to maintain the position without lifting your feet, and then leading with your head, sit right back up tall. Make sure you're breathing. Again, rounding back. So I'm aiming for the lowest part of my back to connect with the floor, moving the ribs back, creating a C. Pause. Just getting accustomed to this position, and then sitting right back up. Hands are behind the legs to help support your body, so use them. Scooping the hips back, curling your hips under, hold, breathe, and then rounding to sit right back up. Okay, so now, little trick. You can take a towel or a blanket at home, fold it up, maybe about this big, place it behind you, and then you have some feedback as you round back, bringing the mat up to meet your spine. I'll show you what I mean. Hands behind the knees again. Begin to round back, and you'll feel right away that towel or blanket. You can push your lower spine into it. Roll all the way onto your back, and reach your arms overhead. Reverse that. Raise the arms, raise the head. Grab the backs of your thighs, and then just walk your hands up the backs of your legs. Try not to lift your feet. Sit right back up. If this is tough, that's okay. You're building strength slowly. You're also building the mobility in your back to do it. Round back. Squish the towel. Pull your waist in. Pull your ribs in. Let go. Slowly lie back over the towel. Arms reach overhead. Reverse. Arms and head lift. Catch the backs of the legs and start to walk up the legs. Don't lift your feet. Okay, tip number 2. You can get rid of the towel. And if you have a band or a cable at home, sometimes they come in like a tube, place that around the feet. Hold the band with as much tension or as little tension as you need, still knees bent. See if you can use the band to control your descent so there's no kerplunk, moving bone by bone by bone. Pause, arrive, and then reverse. Lifting your head and shoulders, breathe, pull on your band. C curve forward over your legs and stack right back up. There's 2 things that are happening here. By having my knees bent, it typically makes it easier for me to move my hips under, moving through each part of my back. But the other thing you may not be able to see from your vantage point is that my feet are actually apart. So especially if this movement is difficult, taking the feet apart will often give you the freedom to move through your hips and get a little bit more control in that lift and lower. Let's try it with straight legs. You decide if you want the feet apart or together. If you don't have a band, you can continue using the blanket behind you. And then again, curling the hips under, drawing the waist back into the blanket or mat, slowly rolling down. As soon as you lift your head and shoulders, don't round the shoulders. See if you can just curve your spine, rolling up. And stack up tall. Okay. One last tip for at home. If you have a stronger, this is a yoga strap, but any kind of firm piece of fabric at home, you can anchor it to something stable, like a big piece of furniture. Placing your feet in, I actually have anchored this to my radiator at home, which is a little dangerous, but it works. And just like in a formal Pilates studio where you would have a strap at the end of your mat or at the end of your reformer or Cadillac, you can use that foot strap to pull against it as you roll all the way down and as you roll all the way up. Okay. Some of the common things that I see happen in roll up and roll down is the feet lifting. We want to make sure we're activating the hamstrings, the backs of your legs, and pushing your legs down into the floor. And you never want to go up and down like Dracula into a coffin. That was somewhat painful just to demonstrate, okay? You want to make sure that you're truly moving through each and every portion of your back as you roll up. And the last little tidbit that I want to share with you is how important the rolling up ending is, okay? So let's assume that you've rolled all the way down. Here you are. Amazing. As you roll up, this is always fine. But then so often, I see this. And it's not wrong. It certainly feels good. But it's not getting that ooey gooey stretch through your spine. So instead, as you roll up, the idea is that you're desperately reaching forward through your arms at the same time as you're pulling your ribs back and your waist back so that you're actually stretching your spinal column and compacting your abdominals in towards your back, teaching them to stay connected inward and upward. And then you sit up. All right, hopefully that was useful for you. And you can use these tips and tricks for roll up whenever you see it in our workouts. Grab your blanket, grab your band, and just start to build the strength and the mobility one step at a time. Thanks.